Hi everyone, Materim here with another narrative battle report for you. And tonight we have the Bretonnians facing off against the Vampire Counts in a 2400 point battle line scenario. Now we'll go ahead and apologize up front. About a quarter of the way through this, my phone went into square photo mode, so we do have a lot of black bars on the end, and I know that's kind of annoying, but let's go ahead and get into it. It has been several weeks since the sacking of Loningsbrook, and Lord Alessandro Mounthaven was pleased with the progress of his plans. His enemies had turned against each other, and none seemed to realize his hand in the fall of the city. One last great manipulation to begin, and the southern reaches of the Grey Mountains would be secure. His spies told him that the Bretonnians of House Serpine had begun moving a large amount of gold from the mine they had stolen from the dwarfs. He did not know the final destination or purpose of such wealth, but he knew that Lord Alphonius would travel with such important cargo. With that information in mind, he summoned Sir Barad Martigan, the Grand Master of his knights. In life, Sir Barad was a disgraced Bretonnian Grail Knight, who allowed his lust for battle to turn him from his duty to the Lady of the Lake. In death, he was a remorseless killer that answered only to Lord Mounthaven. The fact that he was an ancestor to the current Lord Serpine's betrothed only made this undertaking sweeter to the Vampire Lord. Sir Barad, make ready my knights. We ride to the Bretonnian mining camp. My lord, the White asked. He too had heard the tales of Lord Alphonius leaving the camp. Do not worry, my good knight. We shall gain our vengeance on Lord Alphonius. But first I thought it would be entertaining to stage a family reunion for you. As Lord Alphonius travels with the gold, he will no doubt leave your descendant, the lovely Lady Chandra, in command of the main camp. And you wish me to kill this Lady Chandra, the White began. Oh no, Sir Barad. You may do as you like with the other Bretonnian rabble, but Lady Chandra must not be harmed. My plans are far more subtle than that. For the House of Serpine, death is not an option. It is too easy. The Vampire Lord's eyes burned brightly as he continued. I still remember the shame of being driven from the gates of their wretched city nearly 8 centuries ago. So no, we will not kill Lady Chandra, but we will instead take her alive. You see, Sir Barad, it has been some time since I have taken a wife. Lord Mounthaven's dark laughter filled the halls of his castle, and had the last of his humanity not been reduced to dust long ago, Sir Barad might have felt pity for his young descendant. So here we have the battlefield where the defenders of the Bretonnian mining camp have come to face off against Lord Mounthaven's forces. Everything in here is normal terrain with the exception of the tower there, which is a tower of blood, but we ended up completely forgetting about it, and so it ended up just being a normal tower through the whole game. So, starting on the Bretonnians' left flank, up front we have a unit of 5 mounted yeomen. In the back there is obviously the Bretonnian trebuchet. The small unit you see there is a unit of 11 peasant bowmen, and in with that unit is the his level 4 prophetess of the lady. She is carrying the silver mirror and is has the lore of beasts on her. So that next large unit is a unit of 15 knight-errants with the errantry banner. And joining them is his paladin, who is the battle standard bearer. That paladin has the gold sigil sword, the enchanted shield, and the dawnstone. Also with that is a level 2 damsel of the lady who has the lore of life. She is carrying his dispel scroll as well. Next to that is a unit of 60 men-at-arms with full command. Joining them is a level 2 to life with the prayer icon of Quesnel. And then there is a unit of 8 Grail Knights with the Valorious standard. Joining them is Lady Chandra Mardigan, who has the Sword of Swift Slaying, the Grommel Great Helm, the Other Trickster's Shard, and the Virtue of Confidence. Now I know we kind of made a mistake here, and there are no Realm Knights in this army. Now, Army Builder didn't catch this, and apparently the Bretonnian player we play with didn't realize that. He usually always plays with Realm Knights, but since this is just sort of a rear guard for the Bretonnians, he went with the weaker Knights, minus Lady Chandra and her Grail Knight Guardians. So, no big deal, but that's what we were at. Then on the very far end, you have a unit of 5 mounted yeomen and another trebuchet, and this picture is actually done. Actually, I think all these pictures are done after Vanguard, so you can kind of see where he ended up there. And so starting on my left, I have a unit of 5 direwolves that are vanguarded up just slightly. I have my Shrieking Dragon, which is my Terrorgeist. Next to that is Lord Alessandro Mounthaven, my Vampire Lord, level 3 to the lore of vampires. He is riding an Abyssal Terror. He has the Night Shroud, Talisman of Preservation, the Potion of Foolhardiness, and the vampiric powers Quick Blood and Red Fury. No magic weapon, but he is wielding a lance. And then up at the top, vanguarded up, you see I have a unit of 5 Hex Wraiths. With nothing special about them, no upgrades. Then I have a unit of 27 Skeletal Warriors with a Standard Bearer and the Banner of Swiftness. Next to that is my unit of 15 Black Knights with full command. They have the Banner of the Barrows. Joining them is Sir Barad Mardigan, who is my White King. He has the Sword of Might, the Enchanted Shield, and the Dawnstone. Behind that is a 20-man zombie horde bunker. And that bunker hides Mervis Kron, my level 2 Necromancer, who carries a Dispel Scroll and an Iron Curse icon. Then there is my unit of 30 Crypt Ghouls with a Crypt Ghast. Also joining them is Karas the Reaper, who is a Cairn Wraith. And then holding down my right flank is another unit of 5 direwolves, vanguarded up as you can see them here. You notice I did win starting Vanguard, so his Vanguards were very limited. So I think I definitely got the jump on him with deployment and the Vanguard movement, obviously. And because the Bretonnians are going to pray, I do get to continue to push that advantage by taking the first turn. So, easily said, because they're within 12 inches of my general at this point, the Hex Wraiths run screaming over his little spellcaster bunker of archers. I only ended up killing 2 of them, so that was pretty bad rolling on my part, because he doesn't have any sort of protection on that unit, so it's not like he mitigated anything. I just didn't roll very well at all. I moved the direwolves here up. To be honest, I'm not even entirely sure what I'm thinking here. In part, I was thinking, okay, well, I'll chaff them up. And then I realized they're light cab. So at least I've got them right here, where if they do move the light cab, then I can charge his bunker with the mage in it. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to charge the light cab. And I'm thinking the direwolves can handle yeomen. And over here, I can't charge first turn because you can't with Vanguard. So I basically just moved up around this corner with the direwolves here so that I've got an auto charge in on the trebuchet on top of turn 2. And this picture's a little out of order because I left the Terrorgeist in my general where they were long enough for the other center units to benefit from the march. But yeah, I ended up marching both of them here. Terrorgeist is right within 8 inches of Screaming at that Night Errantry unit, and Lord Alessandro is got a perfect line of sight on any number of terrible, horrible things. Really, my only concern here is I probably parked them a little too close to each other. And here's where you see everything else, with the exception of the Crypt Ghouls, who started off a little bit of ahead, marched forward. I don't think I used the full march out of the knights because I didn't want to. I wasn't going to do anything worthwhile, and I was really hoping not to eat a charge from his lances because he still needs. I want to say it was 10 or 11 to get in here, so I thought this was a pretty safe distance to keep my Black Knights. Here we go into shooting, and you can see the Terrorgeist just rips a new one into that errantry unit. They're down to half strength, if that. You can see that whole back empty troop mover behind them. So that really was an amazing shot. I rolled max. It was 12 on the dice plus 6 was 18 against his leadership, and it ate him up. So that was pretty much all we did there. So the top of Bretonnia turn, he tries to charge the errantry lance into my skeletons, and they have to stand, obviously, and they fail, so they stagger forward. I think it's 4 inches is what it's showing on the dice there. And then over here, the Grail Knights with Lady Chandra make just a long bomb charge into the front of my Black Knights. Now, this has me really worried because those Grail Knights are going to hit like a truck. And without me getting the charge, my guys are still only strength 4. I think Sir Barod can hold his own a little bit, but he'll die from crumble if they can just chew up this unit enough. So I'm very, very nervous about this. Only plus side I can see is he's offered me just amazing flanks, but I'm thinking neither the ghouls nor the skeletons, they're both strength 3. None of them are going to do anything to that Grail Knight unit. So I'm kind of not sure what I'm going to do. I think at this point I'm thinking I'll charge my Cairn Wraith out of the Grail Knight unit, and he'll just start chill touching, hopefully kill off some knights, and pray that the main knight unit can hold out for a while just with their 2-up or 1-up armor saves. So we'll see how that goes. Over here, very cunningly, he repositions his mounted yeoman to stop the direwolves. Only thing he really did here is he didn't watch his angle too well, because it's still set up so that I'm going to charge and run through, and it may not look like it from here, but I end up clipping the back end of the trebuchet, so I would be able to go into them. And then over here he brings up just that gigantic bus up a little further. I believe this is in there is the caster of life, so he's got his, I think he had regrowth. He didn't get dwellers, but regrowth was good, and I don't remember what other spell he did. It ultimately didn't matter, but he was just positioning him here so he could make the most out of what spells she had. And over here, I'm not sure why, but the archer unit turns around to face down the Terrorgeist. I guess maybe he thought he'd do something about it. But, well, I mean, I guess might as well throw dice at it. It's not like those archers are going to accomplish a whole heck of a lot else in this game. And if they can get lucky and squeak by a wound or 2 just on 6s, he's probably in good shape there. And you see his mage has just come out on her own. Now I'm thinking this is fantastic, because he's moved this mage out on his own, which means my general is in prime charging range for her. I was just going to run down, chew her up, and then run over into the side of this errantry unit. So I'm thinking that's pretty awesome right there. So Bretonnia Magic Face, he rolled 3 dice and got nothing for it. So we went straight into shooting, and he ends up trying to peg a boulder on top of my general with his far trebuchet. It ended up scattering just enough to land on the head of my Terrorgeist, inflicts damage, 6 wounds, Terrorgeist explodes. And here his other trebuchet tried for my general, went super wide off the table. His 5 mounted yeomen take aim at the direwolves and actually managed to kill 2 of them. So now I'm a little less sure about the three of them taking on five yeomen. So um, um, I still can probably do it, I think, but it went from what I would consider a sure thing to a little dicey. So we go into combat, and Lady Chandra declares a challenge because she has to, and Sir Barad Mardigan steps up, and they have a pillow fight. They're both in one-up rerollable armor saves. Nobody can hurt each other. The Grail Knights, on the other hand, kind of showed why they are living saints. I killed, I think that's two of them, but they ended up just blowing my Black Knights out of the water. This is after Crumble, but he just beat me so hard that the dead are crying. So I've got here four, my champion, musician, standard, and one random guy here. But I've kind of weathered the worst of the storm. Now they don't have their lance damage. I've got one-up armor saves, so this is going to turn into just an annoying grind fest. And I think I might still have the advantage, particularly if I can bring anyone back in Magic. So we go into Vampire turn 2, and because I like having my general around, who is something like 599 points in this 2,400 point game, I got to get rid of the trebuchets. So I throw the Hex Wraiths right at them. I have no concerns here. The peasants can't hurt me, and those Hex Wraiths are just going to beat them within an inch of their pox-ridden lives. I charge my three dogs here into the yeoman unit, and then my general charges his wizard, who runs. She flees through the two units, the errantry and the peasants, and ends up on the other side. So I redirect to that small unit of archers. They do the same thing. So he's stuck there, but I've got his level 4 and her archer bunker fleeing to where you see them right now. So even if they rally, I mean, he doesn't get to use her to dispel my magic this turn, which I thought was awesome. And even if they rally, they're really out of position. And now it kind of gives me a straight shot into the side of pretty much anything over here because I'm flying and have Swift Stride, obviously, because I'm flying on a Abyssal Terror. And over here, I charged the 5 Direwolves into the 5 Yeomen, and I feel very confident about this. He's on peasant leadership. There's no knights anywhere near him, so he's pretty likely to fail fear here, and the dogs are just going to chew up those Yeomen, and I'll end up running by and clipping into the trebuchet and dealing with them, so that's pretty happy. And over here, I charge my Cairn Wraith into the Grail Knights. Now, on hindsight, this was just an epic level of stupid, because I don't know why. I remember that the Grail Knights do magic attacks, but I guess I just had a weird one-turn blot of amnesia where I thought this would be a good idea. So there's that. So there's no shooting. We go into close combat, and I start over here. My dogs kill a single yeoman. His yeoman does nothing. So it's... I think I beat him by 2, but he holds. So that's got me a little annoyed, but at this point, 3 dogs is not a big deal. At least they're not tying up something worthwhile. And over here, the Hex Wraiths obviously kill the trebuchet and turn around. Now, the other thing to note here, I didn't talk about the magic phase, but I miscast Curse of Years on the errantry unit. I did 1 or 2 wounds, but it's on here, so now he's got to try and dispel it on his turn, or he's in trouble, because it's going to be 5 up next turn. And this is at the end of the close combat on this side, where you can see the dogs kill the yeoman, and there's 4 of them left that slam into the trebuchet, which he just switched out because this one looks much cooler, and the other one is accounts as a, I think it's a dwarf grudge thrower. And so the combat over here, it's a pillow fight for just about everybody involved. Nothing happens in the challenge. Nothing happens to the Grail Knights into the Black Knights. And the only reason I crumbled the two that I crumbled is actually I might have killed one Grail Knight, but at any rate, he punked down the Cairn Wraith, so that ended up going into crumble. So all I've got here is champion, banner, and my White King. So we go into Bretonnia turn. I guess this has to be turn 3. Yeah, I think this is turn 3. Yeah, 3. And he throws the errantry knights at my skeletons, throws the peasants at my ghouls, which I guess is a good idea. He just wanted to stop them from getting involved there. His spellcaster rallies, his archers do not, and they keep fleeing. So that's where you're seeing there. So during magic phase, he gets 2 dice. And rather than, I don't remember if he forgot about it or just figured it would be better, he tries casting Savage Beast on Lady Mardigan in the challenge, and I dispel scrolled it. So he did not have any points to get rid of Curse of Years, and Curse of Years not only ate his BSB, but let everything but 3 knights and 1 lady. So so obviously no more shooting because he's tied up. After combat, my skeletons managed to get lucky and kill 1 more knight, and I don't know why there's a wound on his mage, but maybe I did a wound to her too. I don't remember. She might have miscast something earlier. I don't recall. But they stuck there. Over here, the dogs get 1 more killed, and the yeomen get 1 more killed. So we bounce, and they stand there staring at each other. And I'm actually remembering now, this is only Bretonnia turn 2. So combat here, the dogs obviously eat the trebuchet. I think the trebuchet actually kills 1 more of them, or the trebuchet crew rather kills 1 more of the dogs before they go down. But now he's without any sort of shooting, and my general hasn't even entered the fray yet, so it's not looking good. Over here in the center combat, we have just another pillow fight. I mean, neither of our characters can touch the other, and he doesn't do any wounds. I think the one I crumble was from combat res, and I don't remember what the totals were, but it was annoying. Then here, I killed a bunch of men-at-arms. I think he killed 1 ghoul. But they're steadfast by 1.5 miles and ended up sticking. So that big brick is going nowhere, and it's going to pretty much succeed in keeping the ghouls out of combat for the rest of the game. Alright, now this turn happened so fast I really missed the whole charge section, but you can see the important charges here, and this picture was taken mid-combat. So my Hex Wraiths slam into the side of the peasants, hoping to give the ghouls a hand. My general slams into the side of the fast cav that are fighting the dogs, because frankly I'm like, it's time for those dogs to do something else. So during combat, magic, he doesn't, nothing happens. He doesn't fail any of his Curse of Years checks, but stops every spell I throw. So we go into combat. Obviously, my 600-point Lord destroys the remaining 3 fast cab and overruns to slam into the side of his knight unit here. It doesn't look like they meet, but that's as close as I can get due to the head of the Abyssal Terror not letting me get in closer. But yeah, it's going to be a bad day for that lady and the remaining 2 knights. Okay, and I think I just took this picture just to get a little bit better of an idea of where the Hex Wraith slammed into the flank of that peasant unit. They're going to do some damage, I think, but I mean, that unit is just so huge. There's really very little I'm going to be able to do with it, because they're going to be steadfast for days. So look at this picture and please ignore everything I just said about my lord slamming into the side of these guys and overrunning in the knights. That was my plan originally, but obviously I ignored it and just went ahead and charged straight into the side of those knights. Because here is a picture of the yeoman killing the last two dogs. I have no idea how I got so confused about that, so I apologize. Did not mean to mislead anyone. Yes, because now I remember what did actually happen. So obviously 600 points of Lord and Flying Beastie destroys the three remaining people in that unit. And I overrun, slam into the side of the Grail Knights, and this is going to be the fight that decides the whole enchilada. A fresh Vampire Lord versus a beaten and weakened unit, and it doesn't go well. I don't know where my Lord is, but I end up just crushing this unit. I don't know. I guess I took this after we started cleaning up. But yeah, we crushed the unit. The challenge again was a whiff, but my lord took off the whole last rank, and they broke and got ran down by the lord. So yeah, that's pretty much where my opponent gave up. And here is the final picture of the battle. Okay, yeah, I see. My lord is actually down there in the corner. He didn't get killed. I guess for some stupid reason I took him off the board before to start cleaning up before I took this final picture. But yeah, Grail Knight unit broke, got ran down, and that's pretty much where we leave off for our closing narrative. Lord Alphonius just stood and stared at the bustling around the Bretonnian base camp. One of his yeomen had just informed him about the loss of his love to the hands of the walking dead. Upon hearing the news, he immediately set the lowborn away, tossing his table and his maps and plans across the tent. His mind whirled with rage, sadness, and despair as he continued to focus on the gathering forces coming into his camp. He felt a hand on his shoulder, causing him to jump, as he had been alone in his tent the past 20 minutes. Turning, he saw his betrothed sister standing behind him. Prophetess Aveline had a look of sorrow and worry that matched Alphonius's. It was the first time he had ever seen anything other than calm on her face. "My lord, I have heard of what has happened to my sister at the mines. I came at once," the prophetess said, motioning for Alphonius to take a seat. "Lady Aveline, your counsel is much appreciated, but not necessary." "I beg to differ, my lord. You have suffered a great loss. The vampires have taken your love, my sister, captive. She may yet be alive. I would request that Cartagia and I seek them out and free her, before they have an opportunity to perform any dark rituals upon her." "No," Alphonius exclaimed, rising from his seat and staring at the map lying on the floor. "This changes nothing. The pearl is our only mission. It must be found. The fate of our land is more important than one man's betrothed. With the loss of the mine, we must take the gold we have and pay off the White Tooth. We must find the pearl." Chandra knew the risks and would understand that this must be done. "But she is your love, your heart." "My heart is Musalin. My body is my people. And the pearl is my soul. Have Cartagia prepare the gold for transport. Tell him once we have the location and the pearl in hand. I will honor my word to him and allow him to seek out his vengeance upon the blood god, as I will seek mine upon the rotting dead. Ready the lowborn. We march for the ogre's camp at dawn." Meanwhile, at Castle Mounthaven, Lord Alessandro waited for news that the Serpine forces were marching right into his trap. He looked over to the bed where Lady Chandra lay barely awake and weak from blood loss. Lord Alessandro almost felt flushed at the thought of the look on Lord Serpine's face as he claimed the lady for his vampiric bride. His thoughts were interrupted with a knock at the door. "Enter." The dark scribe Malleus entered the room. "My lord, we have received word from our scouts." "Excellent, Malleus. When will the Serpine forces arrive?" "They will not, my lord." The ancient vampire's eyes filled with rage. "What do you mean, scribe?" Malleus paled before the anger on the face of his lord. Lord Serpine has chosen to ignore our offensive and continue his travels towards the ogre tribe in the north. The rage within Lord Alessandro flared, and the words of a spell that would reduce Malladus to ash leapt to his lips. Just before he slew the scribe, the vampire regained control of himself. It seems that we have underestimated our quarry, Malladus. He is not the weak, emotional fool that I took his house for. Lord Alessandro sat on the bed next to Lady Chandra. This is good. His ruthlessness will make the chase more interesting. Luckily, we have a new ally to help us. Lady Chandra was so weak that the only response she had to the vampire's fangs entering her neck was a slight shudder. As she was drained of her life, the love and trust she felt for Lord Alphonius was turned to ash, and as the curse of undeath took her, it was replaced by a rage that burned as brightly as her now red eyes. So, wow, huge win for the vampire counts. It probably would have been a wipe off the board even if the Bretonnians had not surrendered. Um, this is one of those games that it's interesting because of where it takes the narrative, but I really feel bad for playing it. It was one of those things that just, I mean, it was so one-sided after a fashion that obviously the Bretonnia player wasn't having fun. And once the Vampire Lord kind of swept in and started doing work, there really wasn't a whole lot that the Bretonnians had to handle it. As far as what I thought went well with the list, I definitely think having the fast cav and the 2 units of dogs so that I could be really up within threatened range of the trebuchets early was amazing. I really think, and the Bretonnian player agreed that it was really the beginning of the end when he lost out on the roll to Vanguard first. With the way it went, it ended up letting me get the Hex Race in perfect place for a turn 2 charge on one trebuchet and put the dogs in a perfect place for a turn 2 on the other one. And that was really the biggest tool he had to deal with the Terrorgeist and Lord Alessandro. Which was good he got the Terrorgeist, because that would have made things even worse. The one thing that the Bretonnian player complained about, and I kind of agree, for something like what we're doing, this narrative, he definitely wanted to make each of his Bretonnian characters different. But without the heroic killing blow lord, the Bretonnians suffer so badly that it really penalizes you for trying to make different characters to do something like a narrative. Because, I mean, Lady Chandra rolled a number of 6s to wound. If she had heroic killing blow, she would have wasted my character, finished off that unit, and would have at least been in a better position to handle everything that came in. And who knows, maybe if that had happened, she could have gotten lucky on Lord Alessandro, killing blowed him, whatever. But the problem is with what she had, I mean, he went with the Sword of Swift Slaying, just I guess to attack first, but he went very defensive, so he got the rerolls to hit into wounds, but she's still only a strength 4. So that was turning my 1-up rerollable for my character to a 2-up rerollable. Yeah. Needless to say, she was going to chop at him all day, and it wasn't going to do the 3 wounds it needed to kill him. So, I think that was a big strength. I like the White King. The unkillable guy is pretty awesome. I may actually in the future make him a BSB, because I think slowing down the crumble on that big unit would have helped some. And frankly, if it had been a strong magic phase for either player, the game could have been totally different. But I think the highest he rolled for Magic the entire game was 5. It really wasn't much, and I dispel scrolled it or just beat him on the dice. Um, and the only spell I got off the whole game was the miscast on Curse of Years. Now, ultimately, that was an amazing miscast because with the way the dice went for the next 2 turns, he didn't have any time to dispel it, so he just got rocked. Although, I think if given the choice, I probably would have chosen to dispel it rather than try to take a magic phase myself. But it's one of those things you can second guess yourself 1,000 times and you'll never know how the dice came out. But so all in all, now the vampire counts of Mounthaven Castle have a new character. Lady Chandra Mardigan will be entering my character list, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to be kidding her, but she has been taken as a bride by Lord Alessandro. So the Bretonnians are short 1 character, as Lord Alphonius Serpine has chosen to pursue his quest rather than his lady love. So she has fallen to the forces of destruction, and now we'll see where the narrative takes us from here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this. Again, as always, if you have questions, comments, anything of that like, please put them in the comments below. If this is your first video you've seen, please subscribe and like the video. I definitely appreciate all of the rousing support I've been getting from these narrative battle reports and would very much like it to continue. So thank you guys again for watching, and we will catch you next time.